we're going to look at how a sample is prepared histologically. We've studied this in our TOB lectures, I think, so it was good to see how it's done. So the first step is, as you can see in the picture, is fixation. You want to preserve the proteins and the content of your tissue that you want to study. Thus you fixate. Normally it is done with formaldehyde. Then you dehydrate using alcohol, and then you need to embed, which is done with embedding in wax. And then you section the wax and you mount it onto a slide. And the last step is staining the tissue or the sample, and then obviously you need to observe under a microscope. We'll go through each of these processes except staining, but we'll see how they are done in the following video. This is where all the slides are prepared. You can see the staining machine here, the dermatome machine here, and the immunohistochemistry machine. We got cytology, and finally what is called the paraffin dispenser is also seen here. The samples are seen here. They normally arrive in these biohazard special bags, and as you can see here, they're inside, fixated inside 10% formaldehyde solution. For every 4 hours, there is around 2.4 centimeters of specimen penetrated by the formaldehyde from different directions. So depending on the size and the dimensions of the sample, it takes around 10 to 12 hours for fixation to occur, and then we can proceed to the next steps after that. This is the first machine we're going to look at. It has different chemicals inside of it. Firstly, you can see these two green bottles. These are for fixation again. They contain formaldehyde. This is called the chamber, where you put the sample in and these chemicals would go through them. You can see alcohols labeled E1, E2, E3 and so on. These are alcohols at different temperatures from 70 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. And the red bottles are xylene, which is used for clearing the sample, which makes the sample more clear and increases the clarity. You can see also the wax here, which is set at between 60 degrees, sort of 63 to 62 degrees. You can see the timings of the processes described before, and the samples have been put at 15:37 the day before, and then they would be ready on 7:30 the next day. So now let's look at the chamber. These samples have been placed here a day before, and they are now ready. And we take them out here, and the next step is to embed them into a molten wax, so we can slice them later on. So now we will take out the samples that have been processed to place them into molten wax and embed them. Sample has to be opened up so that wax could be poured into it. A container called embed would be placed and molten wax would be poured into. Then the processed sample will be placed. And every sample has a direction, so that should be kept in mind. We will wait for the sample to solidify a bit and place this green bit on top of the sample and pour some more paraffin on top. Then we would place the sample onto a cold tray so that it would assist in the solidification of the sample here. You can see the sample that has already been placed, which is ready to be cut. So here, the sample that has been embedded in wax will be sectioned and cut by this dermatome. We'll give cuts that are 3 microns thick, as you can see here. The sliced sample and is then placed into water, which is seen here. It is then taken out of the water, which is 56 degrees Celsius.